Now, if you, Surah Luqman is a surah, 31 surah and ayah 12. It says, وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا لُقْمَانَ الْحِكْمَةَ أَنِشْكُرْ لِلَّهِ وَمَنْ يَشْكُرْ فَإِنَّمَا يَشْكُرُ لِنَفْسِهِ وَمَنْ كَفَرَ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ غَنِيٌّ حَمِيدٌ. And without doubt, we gave al-hikmah, the wisdom, to Luqman al-Islam, so that he give thanks for Allah, and whosoever give thanks, so surely he gives thanks for his own self. And whosoever rejects, so surely Allah is self-sufficient, praiseworthy. In this ayah, you will note that Allah said that Luqman alayhi salam was given the al-hikmah, the wisdom. And so that he should thank. Because the wisdom, I told you in the beginning, what is wisdom? In meanings, but in the ayahs also. So Allah said that he should give thanks, and we should also give thanks if we have given the hikmah, making sure that whoever gives thanks to Allah, he only gives to his own self. If I am thankful to God, I'm correcting myself. And at the same time, who rejects, Allah is sufficient and praiseworthy. So in this ayah, the main point is that Allah said that al-hikmah was given to Luqman alayhi salam. Hikmah is given to all the prophets, remember this. But it is explained with the Luqman alayhi salam. So now I will read few ayahs that will explain the hikmah, the wisdom. What was given to him, it was hikmah, the wisdom. And now we will read the ayahs and we will understand the wisdom, what is the wisdom. And it says here in Surah Luqman 31, 13 and 17 ayah. وَإِذْ قَالَ لُقْمَانُ لِابْنِهِ وَهُوَ يَعِزُهُ يَا بُنَيَّ لَا تُشْرِكْ بِاللَّهِ إِنَّ الشِّرْكَ لَظُلْمٌ عَظِيمٌ. And when Luqman said for his son, and he sermons him, O my son, you do not associate with Allah, surely the association with him is definitely a great oppression. Now the hikmah begins. What is it? What is the first point in this ayah is that you do not associate anyone with Allah. What is just and what is right? A person who's got this power of understanding this, not intelligently, but by wisdom, by wise. A person who's wise, he will understand that is true and just and correct. That we should not associate anyone with Allah. Why? If you just reason out, how can we equate a creator who has created the universe and the galaxies and everyone? Can we equate a man who is a created being? You can understand this. And a person intelligent can understand, but the one who's got the wisdom, who is a wise person, will understand and believe and practice. He's a wise person. If you just understand this, an intelligent can comprehend this and use an argument, but if he doesn't believe and practice himself, he's associating somebody with his Allah, he's not a wise person. That is the wisdom. You must understand what is wisdom and who is a wise person. The wise person believes and practices. So this understanding that you should not associate with Allah, if you understand, reason out and logically, you will come to a conclusion that this is the truth and just. That we, mankind, should not associate anyone with Allah. We understand that. But the question is, do we in life believe and practice? That is the question. If we do and believe and practice, then you are a wise person and you've got the wisdom with you. You've got that criteria to judge the right. That is the wisdom with you. The second is, if you will associate, Allah said that is definitely a great oppression. You will oppress your soul if you will associate anyone with Allah. Following ayat says, Ya bunayya aqimis salah wa'mur bil ma'ruf wanha 'anil munkar wasbir 'ala ma asabak Inna dhalika min azm al-umur. O my son, establish the salah, the prayer, and order with what is acknowledged, and forbid about the disguised, and be patient over what has reached you. So surely that is from the orders of firmness. Now, the first point here now you're reading hikmah, the wisdom. You must understand, this is the Luqman al-Islam was given the wisdom. He is telling this wisdom things to his son. And the second is you establish the salah, the prayer. Now establishing the salah and the prayer, most of the people know what is salah and prayer. But how and what is the purpose of the salah and how to pray the salah or to establish the salah, the communication with God Almighty and mankind, is a format given how to communicate with Allah. That is the purpose of the salah, the prayer. How to communicate with Allah. Is through the verses, we recite the Quranic ayahs. We recite the Quranic ayahs in the salah, the prayer. So when we recite the ayahs in the salah, the prayer, it is a communication with Allah and man. So Luqman as-salam is telling his son, you establish the salah, the prayer. There's another lecture of mine, all lecture, what Quran says about the salah, the prayer. It explains in detail how and what are the purpose of the salah, what are the timings of the salah, the prayer, and what and how do you communicate. So I'm just making a point that this is a wisdom. A person who is a wise person, not intelligent, a wise person will establish the salah, the prayer. Not an intelligent person. He may understand it, it makes sense, it's right, it's good, but he may not practice. That's wise person or intelligent. But the wise person will make sure that he establishes the salah, the prayer. Second is, wa'mur bil ma'ruf. Order what is acknowledged. You see, the Quran is ma'ruf. Whenever we say about the Quran, it is acknowledged. If you quote the ayahs to any man of the world, whether he believes, whether he does not believe, he is a Muslim or a non-Muslim, believe me, in my lifetime, I have spoken to almost, except who are in Pakistan and some people come from abroad, I have met these people, and if I quote the ayah, the translation, the essence of the ayah, they all agree. They do not say this is wrong. They say it makes sense. Intelligent, they have grasped. Intelligent, they grasp this truth. But they may not practice. So the Quran is an acknowledged ma'ruf. It is acknowledged, known, the truth. Because Quran, whole book is truth, 100% coming from Allah. So if you present an ayah to any human being and ask him to analyze, he will say this is the truth. Believe me. You don't have to convince people to believe in the Quran. Believe me. It is the other way around. They look at the ayahs, they understand the ayah, they may not practice it because they are not wise. They don't have the hikmah, the wisdom with them. They understand intelligently, they make sense to them. Because all the Bible, the Jewish Bible, the Bhagavad Gita and Avesta and all the books of the world have got not mistakes, blunders. They can find faults in every book of the world except the Quran, because it's the book of the Creator. And the moment you listen to the verse, they say it makes sense, they're quiet. They can't argue on the ayat, the verses of the Quran, because of the fact that this is the truth coming from Allah. And it is just truth, 100%. But the question is intelligent, the wisdom, the wise. The wise person will understand and believe and practice, and he will change the courses of his life. But the one intelligent person may understand it, may quote to others, but not practice it, not believe in it. That's the difference. So now about the salah and the prayer and what is acknowledged, the Quran is an acknowledged thing. And what they do is wanha anil munkar, and forbid about the disguise. Meaning which is disguised, they do not talk about it. Munkar means disguised. Look, there are, in the form of people have, if, like for example, I'm wearing a suit, right? And people do not expect a religious person to be like that. So people who have got this image of a religion, in all the religions of the world, there is not Christians and the Jews and all the scholars of any religious cultural, they will make one pattern of dress. You will see in the world, like Christian scholars, the Jewish scholars, the Hindu scholars, the so-called labeled Muslim scholars, all these guys, they have to have a specific dress to tell you that I am a scholar, believe in me. You don't have to, you have to be a common man. The essence of the knowledge of the Quran does not require a format that you look like a Muslim. This is similar to the books. There are various books in the world which tell you must know this book. Is it acknowledged? I just give you the Quran is acknowledged by all mankind of the world. You take up any other book, it will never be acknowledged by any other man. I said he will not practice it, he will not believe, he will agree to it. That's my statement. If you put forth a Quranic ayat to any man of the world, he will acknowledge it. But the other books when presented, their scholars themselves are finding faults in their own books. What? It is not acknowledged. So these people, he says, they forbid which is disguised. Like Bible is disguised as a book of God. Who says? The Jews say it's a book of God. The Christians say there's a book of God. It is a disguised book. It is not the good book of Allah. Not. Quran is the book of Allah. It is acknowledged. To speak to anyone, he will agree. Not believe and practice, may have not the wisdom to practice, but he will agree. Similarly, then he says, وَاصْبِرْ عَلَى مَا أَصَابَكَ. Now it means that be patient over what reaches you. You know, there are situations in life, there are different situations in life that from Allah, Allah says in Baqarah 2:155, وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ وَنَقْصٍ مِنَ الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَنفُسِ وَالثَّمَرَاتِ, that Allah will test you from food and hunger, from psychology, a loss of psychology, a loss of wealth. So you have وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ, they should have patience. So what happens? The command is that you have patience. Whatever reaches you, whatever reaches from not your hands did it, but it comes from an accident or from outside the world. It is a trial, a test from Allah. So you should have patience, and believe me, people get panicky. And they become panic and they start thinking that some people have done some magic on us. Something is going around in our family these days. Because when something reaches them from Allah, they don't understand this. It is a trial and test from Allah. But they think the other way, that some people are doing some magic on us. Something is going wrong. And they have superstitions, tremendous amount of superstitions, and believing that something is going wrong with me. This is all superstitions. No magic, no superstition. It is all up here in your mind. You think that way. So Allah says, when something reaches you, you must have patience. That it's a trial coming from Allah. Have patience. What happens? The ultimate is death. And ultimate reach is what? If you know what is the goal. The final goal of a believer or Muslim is the garden. The most pleasurable thing, or the nearness of Allah. Whatever the big palaces you have, whatever the wealth you have, is not your satisfaction. It is the shaitan is trying to delude you. But the real truth is the after death is garden and eternal peace. That is the truth, reality. You reach God. What about little petty matters? You're not going to die, but still you're afraid. The maximum is the death. But you think that some delusion, some people are doing something to us, and your psychology becomes so panicky that you run along. You don't look at God. You don't look at Allah. You don't ask for His guidance and strengthen you. You run around to people, thinking that they will help us. They will give assurance, something like that. Nothing. It's all delusion. The reality is that you must have patience. If something goes wrong, you must have an ayat in your mind that Allah is testing me. He is trying me. Yeah, I have patience. So this is what the third point is. And then it says, Inna dhalika min azmil umur. Surely that is an order of firmness. Firmness. A person who will have patience during the time of panic, during the time of what reaches him, is a strong hold of firmness in him. These are the hikmah, the wisdom I am reading. Further it continues. Same Luqman alayhi salam is saying to his son. Surah Luqman 31 surah and ayah 18 and 19. وَلَا تُصَعِّرْ خَدَّكَ لِلنَّاسِ وَلَا تَمْشِي فِي الْأَرْضِ مَرَحًا إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ كُلَّ مُخْتَالٍ فَخُورٍ. And do not swell your cheeks with pride for people, and do not walk with merriness on earth like a noisy in festivals with dancing and masking, wasting their time. Surely Allah does not love any deceiver boastful. Now in this ayah, do not swell your cheek with pride. You know, this is almost every human being. Whenever they see a lower class person, their cheeks are swelled. Even a relative comes, a poor guy coming and knocking at your face becomes, with pride. Why? For what has Allah has given you? Is it you think you have earned it? The things, even your beauty, your intelligence, everything that has been provided to you, you boast for it. You have pride in it. I am proud of you and I am proud of that and I am proud of this. You use these statements. And Allah said, do not be having any pride. What for? Anything, a person is an intelligent person who's got brains, who's got good, who's got wealth, is it his anything of his? It was given by Allah. So that is why Allah said, do not swell your cheeks with pride. What for? What for? That's not yours, given to you. And do not walk with merriness. You know, people who do not have any goal in life. That is what it says, like noisy in festivals with dancing, and you should have a purpose in life. People do not have aim, goals in life. What they are doing, they are just wandering in life. Not a specific goal that, okay, careers are there, or you're after money, or you're after this. But the purpose of life is not only this. You have to have a strong moral character and moral conscience. That's what the purpose of life is, to have garden in the life, in this peaceful life, peace in this world, and a garden on the other side. So how should we walk? In this further ayat says, وَقْصِدْ فِي مَشْيِكْ وَقْضُضْ مِنْ صَوْتِكْ إِنَّ أَنْكَرَ الْأَصْوَاتِ لَصَوْتُ الْخَمِيرِ. And have purpose in your walk. That is a manner of behavior, conduct or a course of life. And lower yourself from your voice. Surely the most disguised or disgusted voices is definitely the voice or a braying of a donkey. Lower your voice. First is, you must have a purpose in your walk. I was just telling you, you should not have a merriness walk. You must have a purpose in life. And the purpose of life is to attain peace in this world and garden or the nearness of the good pleasures of Allah. That is the purpose. The other things is to live in the world. The other things we do, careers and everything, is just to live in the world, to sustain yourself. Actual purpose is to have peace of mind and soul and have garden and the nearness of Allah. This is the purpose, aim in your life. The true aim. So for this you have to work it out. That is the conduct and the course. And it says the most, and lower yourself by the voices. What is lower yourself of the voice? Lower yourself by the voice, your voice. Because it says the most disguised or disgusted or deniable voice is the braying of ass or a voice of a donkey. But what is braying or brays? It says to make a loud, harsh, breathy cry. Breathy cry. and a disagreeable sound, deniable sound. So whenever a donkey brays, it is defined as a deniable, a person who is denying something in languages of the world. It is referred as a deniable to the essence of the message of God. When you know the truth and you start denying, you behave like a braying of a donkey. You understand what I'm saying? When the donkey brays, it is defined to make a loud, harsh, breathy cry. Loud, harsh, breathy cry. Have you seen a donkey doing it? Yes. So if you do not agree to the essence of the message of God, and you start using argument, you think that you are like a donkey. You are arguing your behavior, your face, and you get annoyed and irritated to an essence of the message. You see a donkey braying and you can see yourself. When you do not agree to the ayahs and the message of Allah. And why I say so, you go further, I'll explain to you. In the Hujurat Surah it is described